Good afternoon, everyone. Since we have an international crowd here in Serbia, we have saying malo društvo ali odabrano, so today is wonderful to have the panelists, and it's my honor to state that we have actually all the panelists that never been to Koponik Business Forum. So I think this is one of the new things, because usually we have people that speak repetitively over and over. So I look forward to hearing something new. And we have a great panel on Balkan and hotels and tourism. And it came in the right time, because I think most of the panel we have changed and decided to speak about coronavirus, as I believe this is a great topic. And I believe that there are a lot of international companies that are doing different things. Chinese business has been down 24 billion euros all over the world because China cut on traveling. And I will start with brief introductions. On my right-hand side, we have General Manager from Holiday Inn Belgrade, Slavica BOGOSAVLJEVIĆ. Right next to her, Miloš CEROVIĆ, General Manager of Intercontinental Ljubljana. Hi, Miloš. And right next to him, DIECKMANN, General Manager of Porto, Montenegro, Regent. And then all the way from Sofia, a beautiful Intercontinental Sofia that just recently opened, Angelo, ZUCCALA, the General Manager of Intercontinental Sofia. So good afternoon, everyone. So ladies choose first. Do you want to go first, Slavica, or you want to go?
Sorry, depends of the question.
All right. Good. Okay. So I think to start with and to warm this up, we're gonna keep the time clock, and we have basically 1 hour from now. I think this will do it. If there are any questions, we'll leave 5 minutes for the questions at the end. And I would like to speak about Belgrade, Ljubljana, Tivat, and Sofia. So can you tell me a little bit about market in Belgrade? Is the rate there? Is the occupancy there? What is happening with Belgrade as destination? What is the tourism agency doing to promote Belgrade? Why the Ministry of Tourism is not here with us today? What is happening so that we can have a popular Belgrade?
Can I pass? It's a lot of questions. From my point of view, when I speak about my property and our share of market in Belgrade, Belgrade has changed a lot. We has been opened, Holiday in Belgrade has been opened since 2007, and we witnessed a lot of changes that came to Belgrade. I'm not satisfied with the rate, of course, right now, but I think that also my colleagues share my opinion in Belgrade. But I think that in the future we cannot speak at this moment because we have all this situation with coronavirus. But in the future, I think that we need to be together and to find some unique strategy for all of us in Belgrade, and to achieve a better average rate, to increase our rate, because if we compare ourselves with other cities, we are not the least, but we have much lower rates, and that isn't good for us if we want to build a strong touristic destination, because I think that Belgrade is city for that, and we need together with Ministry of Tourism to make a plan, to make a strategy, serious strategy for us for next 10 years to achieve some better rates and occupancy for everyone.
Great. Miloš, Intercontinental Ljubljana opened recently. It's a first 5-star property in Ljubljana. What is happening with the occupancy and the rate there, and how you see Slovenia and Ljubljana as a destination?
Sorry. As I mentioned, Ljubljana is one of the smallest EU capitals, and as such, it's a very immature market still. So for us, there are only a few upscale hotels, and Intercontinental Ljubljana is the market leader, being the only 5-star luxury property there. So we are pioneers of luxury, and as such, we are dictating the market conditions in terms of rate. Occupancy has been steady. Ljubljana recorded a double-digit growth for the last decade, so the market is a bit slowing down because there is new supply coming into the city. We also had, despite the global issue, or in spite of global issues, we also had Adria Airways, which is a national air carrier, went bankrupt in November 2019. So the current stats are showing that the number of arrivals...
So sorry to interrupt you. Can you tell us a little bit about Adria Airways? Because I think what Etihad and Air Serbia done in Belgrade, it's an amazing thing. And Belgrade became hub. We have so many travelers there. And can you tell us how Adria Airways is impacting the business on hotels in Ljubljana and in Slovenia?
It's huge. Adria went bankrupt in November, but even before that, for the past 3 quarters, they were very inconsistent in terms of service, in terms of delivery of passenger numbers. They were cutting down on the routes. They were combining routes, creating a different level of service. The number of aircrafts that they used, it's double digits, so it's a very big impact because the direct routes to some of the key feeder markets have been either disappeared or have been decreased. So now few airlines have tried to replace some of the most lucrative routes like Munich, Frankfurt, Paris, London, and so on, but it's still not back to the levels where it used to be when Adria was at its full capacity. So we are seeing now a decrease of number of passengers and the traffic at the Ljubljana airport by 30%, which of course has a huge impact on individual customers, corporate customers, and the MICE segment, which is a meetings, incentive, congresses and exhibitions. That has been going down significantly comparing to the 2 years ago.
Thank you, Miloš. And Kai, I have a few questions for you. You come from beautiful Porto Montenegro region. I think that Porto Montenegro is a true example of what Montenegro is becoming as destination. I think we learn a lot about knowledge and what people can learn from the facilities such as. But tell us a little bit about seasonality. Tell us a little bit, is the rate there? What is happening with your competition, Porto Novi, that is opening recently? And tell us a bit about IAG that acquired Regent brand recently. So we would like to know a bit more what is really happening in your beautiful resort. And then the last question that I really want an answer is, what's the reason that people choose from Belgrade, Istria, rather than Porto Montenegro region? What we need to do to bring people from Belgrade to Tivat rather than to Rovinj and other Istrian places?
Well, that's a very good question to start with the last one, and I guess that's easier for you to answer because you live in Belgrade. We are lobbying very strongly in the Belgrade market because it's one of the strongest feeder markets for us. And I'm sure the majority in this room knows Montenegro even better than I do. It's a unique, it's a very special destination. And what has happened in Porto Montenegro, in Tivat in general, has been really a success story with the opening of the Regent 5.5 years ago now. And the takeover or the acquiring of the Regent brand by the Intercontinental Hotel Group a year and a half ago has really added strength for us because we operate in a very seasonal environment. We're not in one of the capitals, we're at the coast. So at this time of the year, if you look at the airport in Tivat, we go from 45 flights in summer, where we're very well connected to all major capitals in Europe, to 3 flights in winter, 2 a day to Belgrade and 1 to Moscow. So that really makes it challenging to operate cost effectively year round. We obviously scale up and scale down from a staffing perspective without compromising quality, but this brings us back to the seasonality question. We basically operate on two very different markets. We operate on a winter market between November and March, and then we operate on the summer market. And the rates on these markets are very different. The regional market, clearly Belgrade, Montenegro, Croatia, Bosnia, Albania is really dominating. And when I say dominating, we're looking at occupancy figures way below 50% in the winter months. But then moving as soon as the flights start, we're really looking into markets such as the UK, the US, Russia is pretty much year-round, but Germany, France, they all start coming. And these are markets which are a lot less price-sensitive. So that's when we are able to reach higher average rates, peaking in July and August. But this also clearly showed it last year that once you do not reach the rate or the occupancy, then it really has an impact. And the effect that the entire Eastern Adriatic was suffering from the reappearance of Turkey last year was very clear. And this is where we really heavily rely on IHG in the very strong distribution sector that they have. And I'm very much looking forward. We've now really been fully integrated for a good year to really move that forward.
So Angelo, coming back to you, you were the general manager of the franchise property, and then you switched to be a general manager of the managed property. So I think it would be interesting for the audience to explain the difference between franchise and managed. And then tell us a little bit about beautiful Intercontinental Sofia. It opened also recently. It's a brand new property. And how is the market? Is the rate there? And what is happening in your part of the world?
So, thank you for the question. Actually, the subject of franchise or manage is a very, very interesting one. I mean, first of all, what is good about IHG, obviously, they offer either manage or franchise contract. The franchise contract is actually one of the most used by our owners. Probably, I think we have about 800 or 900 managed properties at a worldwide level, and then the rest are franchise. What is interesting about the franchise, the managed contract, obviously, is that everything is integrated with IHG, but you know the support is constant. We have area teams that are here to support. There's a reporting system that goes both ways with IHG. But obviously there is a strict limit between, you know, where the owner stands and where he can influence the hotel general manager and the way and the strategy that it is applied. You know, at the end of the day, we have to submit a budget and we have to deliver it. And this is the way in a managed contract we have an obligation of delivering the revenue, the profit, and we have to do it the way we apply our strategy. In a franchise, obviously the owner is just buying the name, the systems, and there's a delivery from the system that is very important, but the owners is really involved in the day-to-day activities of a hotel, which for a general manager is very difficult, I have to say. You have to have a very good relationship, and it depends. I had the chance on my previous hotel as a franchise general manager to have a great relationship and understanding of the owning company and the owner's representative to let me do my work, which helped me a lot. But all in all, obviously, depending on the brand, it's very important for a certain type of hotels and brand to go for preferred managed contract rather than franchise. So my advice is more a franchise contract to go for a 3-star, 4-star hotel. 5-star has to be, I believe, managed contract. Let's go back to the rates. And I think from the experience I have, and you have to understand, I've worked in 8 different countries.
How many?
8.
8.
I've worked mainly for Intercontinental hotels, brand, and obviously where the Intercontinental is set up makes a difference of the rate. I mean, location is very important. I've worked in Cannes at the Intercontinental Cannes. I mean, it's a flagship. It's a big icon within the IHG hotels group, and you know the ADR there, it's very, very, very high. Then I worked in other hotels at the Intercontinental in Egypt, in Hurghada. I can tell you that the ADR was not close to anything. So Sofia, being a new destination, it's a new luxury property, and it's the only luxury property in Sofia today. We've opened in March 2018. It's 194 super luxury rooms. And it's not because I work there and I love it. I mean, our guests are telling us, they are comparing us to Intercontinental in Singapore, Hong Kong, and telling us that even we provide better service compared to these hotels, which make me very proud, and I'm very proud of the team. But the rate is absolutely different, obviously. The city of Sofia, I mean, has grown and had seen double-digit growth in the past 10 years. You know, I'm going to talk about the Chinese market. I mean, the Chinese market evolved between 2015 to 2017. There were a growth of 35% growth within the market. But that doesn't come with the rate, unfortunately. We obviously are very happy with our rate compared to the competition. We are number 1, RGI. Very happy with that. But if I look at the difference between the hotel I've worked and the hotel
You want to
I've
explain
had,
to audience what the RGI is?
it's the
Because I think if we can, I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
you know, panels in Kopaonik are not really for hoteliers, and I'm so thrilled that we have this opportunity, and I wanted to thank the organizers for giving us opportunity to really actually educate, and as the more and more room is getting filled and my heart is getting filled, but I think if you can explain to RGI,
Absolutely.
if we can teach them few things, then it's a great thing.
Absolutely, and I'm glad that I did some revenue management, because if not, I would be stuck here. So RGI is a revenue generation index, and this is, just to give you a very easy example, let's imagine that we have 100. Anything above 100 means that you are taking a share of the competition. So for instance, last year we closed at 125 RGI, meaning that we're taking 25% of our competition set in the city of Sofia compared to the others. And the others are losing 25% overall. I think this was clear, I hope. So if you are below 100, it means that you're actually not getting your fair market share in your hotel. So no, the rate is not great. Unfortunately, Sofia today, as soon as, and I see it with the price in restaurants, the price in hotels, as soon as a guest, an international guest is coming to Sofia and land in Sofia and start taking a taxi and pays about €4 to come to the hotel from the airport, which is ridiculous price, they expect to pay very cheap as well hotel, unfortunately. And maybe it's the same, I think, in Belgrade. And I've seen it in Romania. I've worked also at the Intercontinental in Romania, and it follows the same pattern. So we have to educate, we have to provide the best service, and actually we've seen, and I've seen it, I mean, we started in March 2018, in 2019 was an amazing year for us. I mean, we reached all our targets within Sofia. I'm very proud of the team, and this allows us obviously to charge a bit more. Unfortunately, in 2020, and that might open the subject for a few questions.
Thank you for bringing us to the next subject. But when you said that you worked only in 8 countries, I thought the following: you were born in Nice, right?
Nice, yes.
Your parents are from Sicily.
Yes.
You were in Sofia yesterday, and today you're in Kopaonik. So that's already 4 countries in 2 days, and so we wish you to come here more.
Definitely.
But I think that we go and now we move on to a more interesting subject, and that is coronavirus. I think that coronavirus is something that we do not take seriously. And right after this panel, we have a conference call with the entire Intercontinental Hotel group about all the preventive measures to show how serious coronavirus is affecting the world and the tourism. I brought and prepared an article from 2 days ago, and it says, I'll just read some parts of it. It says, when the Chinese are not traveling or restricted to travel, during the first quarter of 2020, that means a loss of 69 billion euros just for the first quarter. So in 2018, the Chinese spent 277 billion euros in international tourism. And right now we are feeling that loss of 69 billion. And then I moved to Hyatt that closed 26 hotels in Greater China, with many others that remain open at very low occupancy. And they lost about 2 million euros in EBITDA just in first 2 months. Radisson Hospitality estimated that the negative impact considered due to limited impact of Chinese and Asian travelers will cause them close 24 new hotels. HN has closed about 150 hotels already, totaling 33,000 rooms in China, anticipating 50 million euro impact on EBITDA for the first 6 months. Wyndham Hotels closed 1,000 hotels in China. Approximately 70% of Wyndham Chinese hotels will remain closed for next 9 months. And I can go on, but how is coronavirus impacting businesses in Balkans? And I think Miloš, in Intercontinental Sofia, in Intercontinental Ljubljana, we have a great rate there. And so tell us a little bit about what is happening with the past 2 months. Are you losing business? How much of business you're losing? What are the hotels doing to prevent the loss of business? How we can make up in that business that we're losing, and how you foresee the future, most importantly, with the new coronavirus and everything that is happening?
Well, I think first of all, like in any crisis, the most important thing is not to panic. It's important to educate yourself, to educate your staff about the issue, and to educate the guest about the issues. Once you understand fully the impact of the issue, then you tackle the issue. And Chinese and Asian market is very important for us. It's one of the top 5 feeder markets for Intercontinental Ljubljana, and especially in the low season, we get predominantly Asian tourists coming to Slovenia and to Ljubljana naturally. What has been going on with us is that we've seen a decrease of conventions, decrease of leisure groups, and decrease of individual travelers. Unfortunately, individual travelers we cannot even count because they don't even make the bookings, but we see year over year a decrease in terms of occupancy, and a current loss for February has been recorded in over 80,000, but the full impact so far has been close to 150,000 euros just for our hotel. What we are doing at the moment, first we are taking safety measures. We sell experience in hotel industry, so safety is a big part of that experience. So we educate staff to what to do, how to even disinfect the areas even more. Our cleaning standards are already at a very, very high level, but we are trying to figure out even a new ways to clean in order to make sure that we share the comfort to the incoming tourists, and also to prevent from staff and guests from getting into virus opportunities. So in terms of the markets, we have to stop looking at Asian markets for now, or at least postpone our travels to Asia, our sales calls to Asia, and look at different markets. We are very focused on now on domestic and on regional markets. We are trying to get more penetration into Serbia, Croatia. Unfortunately, Italy and situation there is not helping out because most of our guests, overseas guests, fly through Venice. Venice is only 2 hours away from us, and the Venice airport has been really hit hard over the last few weeks. So we look at different markets. We are now potentially exploring the Middle East. We are exploring the regional markets to offset the losses that we unfortunately generated over the past couple of months.
And Angelo, let me ask you the following question. We have witnessed that the biggest hotel conference in Berlin is cancelled, that is supposed to start tomorrow. And you know, for us hoteliers, what is from tomorrow in Berlin, it's like what is Davos for people from financial world. We have witnessed that Geneva cancelled the biggest car show. We have witnessed that Barcelona cancelled the biggest IT and mobile conference. Are we sending the right message by cancelling those? Is that something that must be done to prevent safety? And then the last and maybe most important question, God forbid if in Sofia would stay a guest with coronavirus, what do we really do? What happens if he or she is in the room 716? Are we trained? Are we ready? You know, yesterday I flew back from Thailand to Moscow airport, no problem, and then to Belgrade, no problem. No, I'm just kidding. That's an old joke. But tell us a little bit about what is really happening and what we would do in Sofia.
So the first question I think was about ITB Berlin. One of the most important, gathering for the hospitality business. Is it the right message? No, I don't think so. I mean, if we start cancelling this type of conferences, I think we're showing that big uncertainty and not to know how to deal with it. It gives the opportunity for everyone actually to cancel and say, yeah, look, the big conference, as you said, in Barcelona was cancelled. I think they said it was about $500 million of revenue loss for Barcelona. And I think it started with that. Everyone was surprised and said, okay, it's really major. I think this is definitely the wrong message. Of course, it impacted us in Sofia, this coronavirus. One of our feeder market, actually, we had an extremely amazing result for January. February was going very well, but the day the announcement about the Italian market appeared, and Italy is one of the feeder markets, we start losing and getting cancellation. We are not at the level of Ljubljana, but if I look at February, we're looking at about 50K losses. But when I look at the coming months, unfortunately, it's increasing. Can I put a number today of what we're going to lose in March? No, because it changes every day. But how can we prevent this? I think, within IHG, I've been with IHG Properties for 17 years. And the thing about companies like ours is we did not invent the preventive ways of trying to stop food poisoning or any kind of pandemic. I mean, these things exist for years. We have a system where we have a risk management system online. All general managers and executive team are trained on it. The only difference is that when it happened now for the COVID-19 is obviously we just cascaded down, and just as a refresher, we are retraining our team. To give you an example, in Sofia, we've installed, of course, in different areas of the hotel, the gel, the antiseptic gel for staff to clean their hands. And we are moving now to the guest area as well. We are not just cleaning, we are sanitizing and disinfecting. There's a big difference between that. And I think going back to ITB Berlin, to me, I think people should be responsible enough to understand if they can travel, if they have the possibility to be infected. I mean, yesterday when I came to Belgrade, the plane was with only 15 people in the plane traveling. I was shocked. At the airport, you can see and feel, these people not sticking to each other, being away from each other. There's a lot of paranoia, and I think this is bad. And I think we have to be more confident. It's I hope it's not because of the subject and the panel that we have so many people or so less people today, listening to us. Unfortunately, I think there's been a lot of cancellation here as well. I didn't want to cancel. Of course, I came, and I'm happy to travel. So to me, as a sign, I think we should really review and try to continue, business and be careful. And I think you had a third question about what if something happened at the hotel. I think we're trained, we're ready. I mean, of course, with anything happening, we have to contain first, and then we have to inform. We have to understand what the guest, where did the guest go? Did he go for dinner? Do we need to close the restaurant? I mean, at the end of the day, we need to sanitize the place. We need to disinfect. We need to get close to the Bulgarian institution and to see if they can take care of this person. Does it mean that we have to close the hotel? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think we need to just get the hotel disinfected if it happens. And I think this goes for everyone.
Thank you, Angelo. And now, Kai, when I go back to you, we sit here with 4 general managers, where luckily in Tivat, Sofia, Belgrade, and Ljubljana, we have no signs of coronavirus so far. But I think that the big topic of all of these panels are we cannot find employees, we cannot find employees, we cannot find employees. We need to search, people are leaving, what we're gonna do. And I think now we come to the different challenge. I think now that occupancy is going down, what's gonna happen to people? What's gonna happen to employees? What's gonna happen to casuals? Is it gonna be laying off? Are you guys gonna continue hiring the same way you did if the occupancy is not there? I mean, how we prevent the loss if the revenue is not there, then we have to look at the cost side. So how is Porto Montenegro reacting to this, and what is that you guys actually do to prevent the losses in Tivat?
Well, as you rightly say, fortunately there has not been a single case of COVID-19 recorded in Montenegro. I believe Montenegro being a small country, the likelihood, you can never rule it out, but is less likely than, let's say, in a larger country such as Italy, Berlin, where I was over the last weekend. And just to add to Angelo's comment quickly in regards to cancelling ITB, and my opinion is that if we who organize travel, who live travel, who work travel, if we cancel a large fair such as this, what kind of message does it send to the others if we don't even believe that we can travel safely? And I think it's always come down to a level of personal hygiene when traveling. Nothing has changed in that regard. Whenever you travel, you should always, you will get in contact with other people, so basic levels of hygiene are to be expected from yourself as well as from the others as you travel. So you need to know whether you feel healthy and safe for traveling, and then you can, and then you rely on everyone else doing the same. The same happened during, I mean, it's not the first epidemic that we have. We had similar events years ago, and it was by far not as largely blown out. But as you rightly say, we are responsible for a business, and if the market is not there, then you need to be very cautious of what you do. If you don't reach the revenue goals, then you need to look at the cost. And for us in Montenegro, we're a very seasonal environment. So for us, it's probably a bit easier than for my fellow panelists, because we will just, if we see that the numbers for the season are not picking up, then we will employ less seasonal staff. For the annual staff, we have a healthy number which will bring us through the season, and we will have to top up. That is for sure. But we have, as Regent Porto Montenegro, built a very positive reputation as the preferred hotel employer in Montenegro, and this is certainly something that I will not jeopardize over this crisis. I want to be a reliable partner, not only to our owning company, but also to the employees, because this is a crisis which is happening now, but we also need to look strategically, because if I burn all bridges with possible employees, and Montenegro is a small country, and we usually scale up to about 270, 275 employees in summer, out of which only 30 are non-Montenegrine. So if I now start cutting ties with all of them in the coming years, with all the added competition that we have, it will be exceptionally difficult to re-establish the level of service and the level of quality that we've built on. But it is also very clear that we need to find creative ways of keeping those who are there, meaning that we need to look at part-time work, that we need to look at additional trainings. There's many ways of how to creatively keep people engaged, or what we've done now over the winter season to relieve payroll, send them to areas which are less affected, send them to areas where there is still travel going on, where there is high season, for example. So there's a lot of possibilities that we have within the IHG network, and I'm confident that we will, as a business, have the right answer to the challenge that we're facing at the moment.
Great, thank you, Kai. Slavica, going back to you, I think to me this is maybe the most interesting, and for everyone on the panel here too. I actually want to give insight as a general manager, and I personally believe what City of Belgrade has done in past 18 months to promote Belgrade as destination has been something of, I can say, unbelievable job comparing to how it was in the past. And I'm very proud what City of Belgrade is doing, and I always, as you know me, I always say what is right and what is wrong. But you know, we just had the recent opening of another brand new hotel, Mona Plaza. I think that Belgrade became a destination with so many beautiful hotels. It's not just your hotel or Crown Plaza, but we have Radissons of this world, we have Hyatt, Falkensteiner, Metropole, and many other. Then we have these beautiful boutique hotels. We know that Belgrade has been already suffering during the weekends. The weekends start getting filled with tourists. The City of Belgrade is doing a better job. Air Serbia and Etihad does unbelievable job, and then Corona happens. Yes. And the rate already hasn't been there. I mean, yes, when you compare rate of Belgrade with Ljubljana, Tivat, and Sofia, we are unfortunately the weakest on the market. So what is coming for Belgrade? I mean, what happens with the coronavirus? Is this affecting the business? Can you see your numbers dropping down? Yes. Can you give us a bit more insight of what do you think is going to happen in Belgrade and hotels in Belgrade next 6 months? I'm sure you speak to your colleagues, and I'm sure that that you can give us a little bit of more insights that we're very, very interested to find out.
So I think that right now every hotel in Belgrade can see and stress out this situation. It is a very serious situation, and I think that most of us really didn't realize so huge impact on Belgrade market. Even here yesterday, when we spoke about that, everybody was like, okay, what is the problem? Because we don't have any virus in Serbia. But still, we are suffering and losing our reservation every day. January and February are the low season for the Belgrade, and maybe we started with some some hope that nothing bad will happen for our market. But since the situation in Italy and on that day when we reached the information about Italy, I think that we witnessed that crucial change for Belgrade. So yes, we have a negative pickup. We are losing our revenue right now, and the rate is, I think, the lowest in this moment, because we cannot have any our tourists from China, even from Turkey. But on the other side, we have so many cancellations from our individual reservation, individual guests, and our corporate clients, because look, we are applying some preventive measurements as a hoteliers, and we are very responsible. But the other companies, they think that they provide some preventive measurement as they are deciding to stop traveling and to organize trainings and conference, etc. So we are right now in the middle of that two type of thinking, or two different point of views. So in the next few months, I think that it will be very hard for Belgrade market. We cannot predict when it will be the end of this, especially because when we are speaking with touristic agency and or wholesalers, they cannot give us any information. On the other side, guests ask to talk about coronavirus. They need to be sure that we are capable to be there for them. So we have so many angles right now to cover our employees, our guests in the house. So we have to be for them also there. And on the other side, to seek for maybe some other niche that we can find in the meantime, and to, of course, look and be very precautious about our costs right now.
Great, thank you. Well, to close the topic of coronavirus, I just hope that things get better. But I just read yesterday that hotels in Athens lost for this year already over 14 million euros in revenue. Hotels in Tel Aviv lost over 22 million euros in revenue. And I think that we need to get prepared for what is coming, with the hope that this will stop soon, because I have a fear that this will be a very challenging topic, especially for the capital cities that are visited by international travelers. But now we have about 15 minutes left. We'll leave 5 minutes for the questions, if there are any, and we'll leave 10 minutes about your destination. So I'll start with Miloš. And Miloš, if you would have 3 minutes to convince this great audience why they should visit Ljubljana and why they should stay and see in Slovenia, because I like talking about destination, not about brands and hotels, but about destination. Can you tell me in 3 minutes why you think this beautiful audience should come and visit Ljubljana?
Well, I think Slovenia and Ljubljana, Daniela, you would agree with me, right? I see you there. Doesn't need convincing. I think it's a beautiful, small boutique destination. Ljubljana being one of the smallest, yet the cleanest and safest capital cities in Europe. Ljubljana is perfectly located. Within 45 minutes, you can enjoy a day in the sun by the coast. At the same time, you can be within 30 minutes to Krvavec, which is a ski resort, or if you want something further, go to Kranjska Gora and really enjoy a day on the slopes. So in terms of leisure, there is plenty of things to do. I would encourage Slovenian Tourist Bureau just to prepare more agenda for leisure travelers in the winter months. But during our peak season, our occupancy levels are at the 90 plus, which means that it is one of the hot destinations nowadays. It's one of the most sustainable eco destinations in Europe. So plenty of things going on for Ljubljana and from Slovenia at the moment. In terms of a hotel, there is absolutely no discussion, and there is no doubt that Intercontinental Ljubljana is not only the market leader in terms of the numbers, but in terms of service level, in terms of the product. We have the newest and the largest product in the market. Our leading category rooms are at 42 square meters. Our restaurant is on top of the building, and the quality of service level is well known in the region, representing some of the finest service levels that Intercontinental as a chain has to offer.
Thank you. I don't know, but you didn't tell ladies that Slovenia is the only country with the name love in it. There is no other country in the world that has word love except Slovenia. So that would be my pinch point.
I'll let you share that.
So coming back to you, Kai, why would you consider convincing this beautiful group of people why they would come to Porto, Montenegro, why they would come to Montenegro as a destination, what there is that Montenegro offers that others don't?
Well, first of all, Montenegro, as a very young country, only 14 years old, is just really entering the world of tourism. It's a combination of beautiful coastline and just stunning beauty in the mountains has made it a unique destination, and with what has happened over the past years, especially given the fact that the government has learned from the mistakes that they made during the Russian boom in 2007, 2008, especially if we look at areas such as Budva. Montenegro now has the unique opportunity to really establish itself on the luxury market in the Mediterranean. We had the Amman, Sveti Stefan, which has been there since 2007, and then Regent Porto Montenegro opened in 2014. This year, as you mentioned earlier, the first one and only in Europe will open at Porto Novi. Last year, or a year and a half ago now, the Čedi Lustica Bay opened. All very similar developments with villages, with marinas, with exceptional service levels. But what I really think is the point that sets Montenegro apart is that the genuine hospitality that you find there. I've had the pleasure of living in some of the most beautiful places around the world, and such as Barbados. I lived in Thailand for 5 years, and when my wife and I, pretty much 2 years ago, arrived in Porto Montenegro, had a look at the hotel, and I was asked whether I would be interested in taking over. We fell in love with the place. It is safe. It's a place for families, family holidays. It's great. There's so many things that you don't know outside of Montenegro about it. If I go to the US on sales calls, which I do once a year because it's a very important market for us, and I walk into one of the biggest, most established travel agencies in New York and present Montenegro, they say, "Oh yeah, we've been there, Montevideo. It's just down there near Uruguay." No, it's not. So we really, whenever we go out, we still do a lot of destination marketing first before we actually sell the hotel. As the hotel, we have now been operating for 5.5 years, so we have an established track record of service excellence in Montenegro. If you go on TripAdvisor, for example, and many of you do before you travel, and you just take out the village or the town that you want to go to, just enter Montenegro, you will find Regent Porto Montenegro as the #1 in the country. So this is something that we really work on very, very hard to maintaining that position, because to get to the top is easy, but to maintain there, to stay there, is the challenge. And this is really where I rely on you to come to Montenegro, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because it's my director of sales and marketing, who is Croatian, who tells me that Croatia is a beautiful country. He loves his country, but he thinks that his fellow countrymen have become a bit commercially friendly. So as soon as the money's in the bank in the summer, service levels stop. This would never happen in Montenegro.
can this group make a call to your director of sales with a statement, I attended panel, and that will be a secret code for 25% discount?
We can certainly do that.
Okay, there we go. We got that. I attended panel. Now they promise they're going to keep that for themselves because they spared actually hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, good that we just added internationally, worldwide.
I know that coronavirus is affecting tourism, but I heard last night in Wurst there was no tables and it wasn't affecting it at all. So Angelo, going back to you and to Sofia and your beautiful country, how would you promote your destination and what would you say why we should visit you?
So, of course, I could talk about Bulgaria, but I'm going to concentrate on Sofia mainly, as this is where the hotel is. I mean, first of all, Bulgaria, like you guys, has 0 case of COVID-19, so please come. It's still safe. Yesterday, I was invited by my fellow colleagues from Belgrade to a nice restaurant, and I have to say the hospitality of Serbian people is wow. So thank you once more, but Bulgaria is the same. The hospitality of Bulgarian is amazing. I mean, the food and the wine is great, and we have rakia as well. I don't know who invented it, but I'm not going to go to this argument. I mean, it's a country with 7,000 years of history and cultural heritage. There's a lot to discover. We have mountains, and you can ski and drive only 30 minutes just to go to ski on Vitosha mountain from Sofia. And then you have 4 resorts, very close by, 2 hours drive. So it's amazing for skiing. For the people that love golf, I mean, Sofia has got great golfs, a couple of golfs, but also in the coastline of Bulgaria, golf resorts are amazing. But I'm going to talk mainly as well about the MICE destination. And again, Sofia as a destination has not really done a great job, and we have this discussion with obviously the governmental institutions in Sofia and the Ministry of Tourism. There's a lot to do because, for me, this is a MICE destination. We have 2 big exhibition centers, the Interexpo, that can have up to 2,000 people at the same time in different areas. We have 18,000 square meters of space, but we also have the National Palace of Culture with 123,000 square meters of space. You can go up to 5,000-6,000 people exhibition. Unfortunately, Sofia today does not have like big capital cities, the big fairs that fill up the cities, and here there's a lot of work to do. It's a very safe country, and Sofia is very safe. You really feel safe when you walk around. There's a great nightlife as well, and people know how to party, I think, like in Belgrade. And this is it. I mean, it's a new destination. It's only 1, 2, 3 hours from the main key cities from Europe. I invite you all, and I think I have to give 25% as well. Correct?
As long as there is a code.
Exactly.
All right. So we come we leave Belgrade for an end. I could support Slavica, but I'm not gonna do that until we fix this Sava Center story that's been bothering me personally for the past now 3 years, with the hope that we will have the most beautiful convention center and bring a lot of convention business to Belgrade. Slavica, tell us, except the convention center that we've been missing for years now in Belgrade, what else we can do to promote destination and to bring guests to such a beautiful city?
I think they can hear you because I have...
I'll share my mic.
Okay. But I don't have the same questions. I think that you noticed that. No? I'm sorry, I forgot the question because I was... Okay.
So what do we do to promote Belgrade, and how would you promote Belgrade more so that we have more guests coming?
Okay. Belgrade is so beautiful city. So sometimes I'm sad because I think that our approach maybe can be better, could be better. Because yes, obviously you have to visit Belgrade, not to think about Belgrade. We have to offer so many nice branded hotels right now, and such a mix of history, and that is a crossroad in this region, and maybe we can try to explain and a little bit more to attract our guests on that pure exotic that we have in this part of Europe, you know. We have a mix of everything, of different history and different traditions and different culinary, yes? And beautiful women, of course. I'm just joking, but yes, Sava Center and Congress tourism is very important for the Belgrade and for the hotels, but this other part is important also, and I think that we in the next period we maybe to go on that side and to be a little bit stronger when we present Belgrade like a historic city, and maybe a tour in combination with Zlatibor and Kopaonik for 5 days or even more. Maybe that is a key in one moment. For the region, especially right now, we don't have a coronavirus and we don't have any tourists from Bulgaria. So maybe that is the opportunity.
All right, so we come to an end. As I like to keep time and make sure that we're on time, we still have 5 minutes. Before I ask if there are any questions, I want to sincerely thank Slavica, Miloš, Kai, and Angelo. Especially at the end of the panel, big applause for Angelo and Kai for not canceling and coming all the way here to spend time with us. I promise to take you guys for a great lunch after this, so that we can extend the Serbian hospitality, and we'll leave the last 5 minutes for any potential questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lazar Grušanović. I'm from a Swiss IT business consulting company. We have a nearshore in software development here in Serbia. So actually my question for all of you is, where do you see the role of the IT in hotel management, in hospitality? If you Google it, you can see dozens of examples how IT can improve customer experience, automation of the process, of the services, labor costs. For example, if I want to come to Kopaonik Business Forum, I want to plan my trip in advance. I don't want to think about checkout on the last day between the panels. So I don't want to give examples. I want to ask you, so what do you do? How do you use IT now at the moment to improve your service, customer experience? And if not, at the moment, where do you see the opportunity for it? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Rather than everyone answering, Miloš, I'll leave this up to you.
Sure, because that's my core. That's my expertise, IT. No, but I think you absolutely mentioned most of the things as to how hoteliers are related to IT. We are heavily dependent on IT. Our operating systems are IT-based. You know, we can't even check in a guest into the room without IT. We cannot even sell a room without IT. So I think everything you mentioned is spot on. The way I see it is it's going to be even more, I would say, related to IT, our industry itself. It will help in terms of reducing the labor costs. I think a new, as IT advances itself, we will advance. We'll make the trip and travel much easier, much more comfortable, and much less expensive.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, of course, Angelo.
I mean, this is my personal point of view. Maybe it's shared or not. I definitely agree that there's a lot of things in development, and especially on saving cost. I mean, in Bulgaria, in Sofia, we have Best Western that came up with Rumi, the robot, which is sending room service to the guest room directly. I mean, I believe there's a demand, but for only a certain categories of hotel. I do not see my hotel or luxury property to to cut on this type of service. This is, I mean, you come for the experience, and you still have to have the human, touch. Maybe not during this COVID-19, but I think this, to me, there is definitely a lot of possibilities. I've met 2 years ago a startup that were developing with a bank and with hotels. They wanted to develop the check-in with just the fingerprint system. I found the idea amazing. I think it's great. Why not? And I think it really depends on the type of categories. But yes, I agree with Miloš. We are very dependent on IT and technology, and looking forward to see all the new things happening and develop.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Vitorović.
Hello. Do we hear you? Okay. I would like to, Ivan Vitorović from Mona Hotel Management. I would like to ask Angelo about labor in Bulgaria and Sofia. We spoke these days about the lack of the labor in the Serbia and the region. Also, we spoke about most labor on the public companies there is to be fired, so maybe they fired and we will, in private sector, we will hire them. So, but I back from the Italy 1 month ago before COVID, and I've been in mountain restaurants, and the best service was from the employees from ex-Yugoslav countries and Bulgaria, and the rates are pretty much better than in this region, and Bulgaria has the same payrolls as Serbia. So how do you handle with that? And you are part of EU.
Angelo, you have 3 minutes,
Okay.
so we can end on time.
I'll make it short because, I mean, this is a subject, obviously, we always talk and discuss. Yes, I think the difference between Serbia is that we're part of Europe, and it's very easy for Bulgarians to go and work in the European cities. And this is happening. I mean, they use our hotel as a training center. I mean, I have waiters, receptionists. They come, they work 6 months, they go, and they put on the CV Intercontinental. If they go to another Intercontinental hotels, I'm very happy, or part of the IHG groups. But this is the way. And as I said, we approach things in a different way. We are starting to, and I said, my parents are from Italy, from Sicily, and they immigrated 60 years ago, and they went to find jobs in Central Europe. And this is what's happening with Bulgaria. I mean, they are living, and as I said, what we have to do, and we started implementing this when I arrived in 2018, is we starting getting people from outside EU. I mean, we have a team of 15 Kyrgyzstanian people. They are working with us. They speak Russian, so communication is okay in Bulgaria. They are very good as well, and we have to get people outside from the EU. We have some permits. They can stay 1 year, and then we re-sign a new contract for another year, so they can stay 2 years, which is better than Ukraine because it's only 3 months or 9 months contract. Of course, we have to see in each country what is possible. Talking about quality of service, I totally agree with you. Bulgaria, compared to all the countries I've worked, and the staff and the service is amazing. I think this is the same in Slovenia because Intercontinental Ljubljana and Intercontinental Sofia are both finalists for Hotel of the Year within IHG. Correct? It's a secret? It's not.
No, it is correct.
It's not.
But
I manage them all. So it's
yeah, I mean, he manages them all. But we've been at the top of the quality in terms of service within IHG, and this is down to people. And I think maybe there's more hunger to be successful, to show what they can do and to develop. We offer a lot of developments within our hotel, but not only just in Intercontinental Sofia, but also for cross exposure. I mean, last week we had someone from the team of Tel Aviv that came for a cross exposure at the hotel, and we welcome different people just to come and experience something different from other properties. So.
Thank you, Angelo. Thank you very much. The room is getting full, so that's great. Thanks for giving us time to speak. And a big round of applause for the panelists for doing a great job. Thank you.